What's going on YouTube? It's Brayzon back here with another video for you guys. If you guys are enjoying the content, if you guys want to hit a like down below, subscribe if you guys are new here, and leave a comment letting me know you subscribe so I can welcome you to the family. And that being said, cue intro. What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Madden 20 video for you guys here today. What I'm going to be going over is making sure that you guys are buying the right cards when you guys are trying to look for which cards you want to upgrade your team, and how to do that, and what you really should be looking for, because EA is kind of lying to us in a sense. You know, they'll tell you that a card is a 91, but it's really not a 91. You know, especially with some of these flashbacks and things like that. So we're just going to go ahead and head out to the auction house right now. I'm going to show you a couple cards that are new this week and that I realized it on a little bit, as well as just some random cards. The reason I want to do random cards is because I don't want it to be, you know, the only 5 cards that I found with this problem. I want it to be random to see if we can find this problem, basically. So what I'm going to do is head over to quarterbacks and flashback. We got the Jameis Winston, so hopefully he is in here already. I believe he is, a 91. Let's see. So Jameis Winston, as you can see, he's already only going for 136,000. And there's reasons for this, guys. It's because people are checking them correctly. And obviously people know that his stats aren't that great. So if we go ahead and we compare him to my Steve Young, we'll see that Steve Young's faster at a 91. And Steve Young is powered up. So obviously, you know, he would only be a 90 if you didn't power him up. But it's a 91 against a 91, so the stats are pretty much the same. It's 82 speed Steve Young. Throw power is the same. Short accuracy is 1 better for Jameis. Deep or medium, deep, under pressure, and on the run are all better. Only by a little bit, but they are better for Steve Young. So how is that? Why does that make sense? Or, you know, how could he be better at everything but be the same overall? You know, really, one short accuracy does not make Jameis Winston the same overall as another player, so that doesn't really make sense, right? So what we're going to do is come look at the statistics and check out some other statistics. So agility, Steve Young has that as well. Okay, he has Jameis has better strength. Awareness and acceleration go to Steve Young. Catching goes to Steve Young. Carrying goes to Steve Young. You look at some of these stats, and this is what it kind of goes into, guys, and this is why I wanted to show you it, because some of these stats, what they're doing is boosting random stats on these player cards. As you see, kick power is at 19 and 20. Even their tackling is boosted. These stats start at 10. As you see, the lowest they can go is 10. So why does Steve Young have 21 and 22 on run block and pass block? He will never be pass blocking. He is the quarterback. So what they're doing on a lot of these different things is boosting up random you know, cards, basically random stats on these cards. Impact blocking on Steve Young, 20. You know, they're supposed to all be 10, and this is why cards are a little bit underpowered this year. So instead of just actually fixing their whole formula, what they're doing is just leveling up other cards in their formula, or however they do it. You know, they're leveling up different things, and then that way it's a little bit easier to make them instead of having to actually change the stats. So you see right here, Jameis Winston has 35 block shed, 40 pursuit for both of them. You know, and looking at these stats, this is what's boosting the card. So when you're looking at a person like a Jameis Winston and you're kind of wondering how it is that he could be a 91 even though he has worse stats, it's because they're boosting some of these other things that don't matter on the card. You know, he doesn't need things like you know, the lead block, or, you know, run block finesse, or some of these other stats that I showed you guys on top. So I'm going to go, who is the new, it's a defensive player. I know that. Was it a right end? If I see the card, I will probably know who it is in the flashbacks. It might have been a linebacker. I don't remember. Let's see. So right end, I don't think that's what it is. I know it was a defensive player, so it might be a linebacker. We'll try to find him right now. Doesn't look like there's a lot of 90, 91s. So when we find him, it should be able to, you know, kind of stand out. It wasn't Sean Lee. I don't think it was a middle linebacker, so it must be a right outside. Or maybe he's just not been pulled yet. Let's see. I believe it was a right outside linebacker. It was the Preston Smith. So I believe it was this Preston Smith. And you can see he's already only going for 135,000 as well. So once again, we'll just, okay, this one only has 3 minutes. So let's get off of this one. Let's go to this one. That's fine. 6 hours left. He's not getting bought right now. So let's go ahead and look at these stats, right? So once again, 91 against 91. Lawrence Taylor has the better speed, and I understand, yes, guys, Lawrence Taylor is powered up, but they both are 91. So this Lawrence Taylor is really only a 90 overall. So Lawrence Taylor has better speed, excels the same. His strength is 6 better, tackling is the same. Play rec is 1 better for Preston Smith. Block shed is 9 better for Lawrence Taylor. Finesse moves is 15 better. So those are the base stats on these cards, right? So obviously on linebackers and things like that, it's a lot harder for defense because they do have things like after, catching and getting picks and things like that actually matter. Their juke move. Those, even though those are offensive stats, they do kind of matter, especially for someone like a Deion Sanders. He's going to have high spin moves, high things like that because of the fact that he is, when he gets picks, he is able to make moves like that. He can punt return and things like that, kick return. So right here, we go ahead and look at this, and we see Lawrence Taylor has everything higher right here. Catching does go to Preston Smith by a little bit. Carrying goes to Lawrence Taylor. And then we see kick power, kick accuracy is pretty high on him. You see this right here. So why do they have pass block and run block as linebackers? Lawrence Taylor, Preston Smith would never be in a pass blocking scenario, especially inside of Madden. There is fullbacks or linemen or defensive linemen and linebackers that have caught passes. Mike Variable has caught, I think, 10 touchdowns for the Patriots when he used to play and things like that. But inside of Madden, it doesn't make sense to put it on their card because people will not be using them in that scenario. So you look at these stats, guys, and this is what you really just want to pay attention to. When you're looking, make sure you come over and check out all the stats on these guys. So right here, Lawrence Taylor has 75 stiff arm. So once he gets a pick, you want to use that stiff arm, whereas Preston Smith doesn't have any of that. Impact blocking. Why would they impact block? Doesn't make a lot of sense. They're not on offense. So these things are what's boosting them, guys. Pretty much every player has it. So that's really what you want to check and make sure. Like I said, pretty much every player has it. I don't know exactly how the formula works, so I couldn't tell you exactly. Things like spec catch, I think it does make a difference defensively because if you get in a spec catch, I guess, scenario or whatever, I don't know 100% if that's true, but it could be. But you look at things like beat press and things like that, you could see that they lowered Lawrence Taylor all the way down to 5 on some stats because they wanted to give him better stats. So just make sure, guys, you guys look at that. Make sure they don't have too high of stats in those different positions. So, they're not 100%. Like, they don't matter 100%, right? Some of them, sure, they might have some things 25 or 30 that don't necessarily matter for that card. You just want to make sure they don't have a couple things ridiculous. And then have really, really low stats in general, because there is some cards that I've seen that have really bad stats, and then when you go look at all the rest of their stats, they have a lot of stuff higher that doesn't really matter. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but I have seen that. So hopefully this helped you guys out with just paying attention to when you guys are buying cards. Hopefully you guys are already doing that, but you really want to compare all the stats. Don't just compare, just the base card, because when you look at this, if we just compare it like this, it's okay to do this. You could tell right off the bat Lawrence Taylor's the better card, but you also want to make sure, guys, you guys are going here. We see that Lawrence Taylor's got more strength, agility, speed, obviously, excels the same. You could see everything that you need on Lawrence Taylor is pretty much going to be better. So you want to make sure that you see that, because Preston Smith might be hiding better statistics, even though he might be worse off the top. He might be hiding better statistics, or he might be or Preston Smith might look better, but he's really hiding, a couple things that are really bad, or they might look the same, but then they're boosting the wrong stats, whereas Lawrence Taylor, has that 75 stiff arm, and then Preston Smith will have something like route running that's completely useless. So hopefully it helps you guys out. Let me know down below if this does help you shy away from maybe buying a couple players you guys were interested in, or if it helps you make a decision between 2 players and you really realize, that one player is actually a lot better than the other. So if it did, leave a like on the video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell so you guys can see exactly when I post videos. And as always, I will see you next time.